Hi there everyone, good morning and welcome to another Hope Daily. Today is Monday and we are going to be in 2 Samuel chapter 21. If you're going to be watching live or watching later back, then comment in, let me know your thoughts, your comments as we go through this chapter. I've entitled it, Get Complete with the Past, because David has to deal with something that was left over, an injustice left over from Saul's household, from Saul's reign, which he needs to clear up before he can move on with God's favour. So it says right at the start of chapter 21, during the reign of David, it doesn't say when or where. This is sort of like a bit of an appendix after all kind of David's other events with Absalom. There was a famine for 3 successive years, so David sought the face of the Lord. The Lord said, "It is on account of Saul and the blood-stained house. It is because he put the Gibeonites to death." So effectively, there's a 3-year famine, and God is displeased. God is not showing favour to David and Israel. And because there's this injustice, there's this kind of flying the ointment. There's this issue that's been hanging around since Saul's reign, which is when he put the Gibeonites to death. And effectively, there's an injustice that needs to be covered up for. There's an injustice that needs to be dealt with, and God isn't going to favour his people until this is dealt with. So effectively, David needs to get complete on the past. Even if it wasn't his own thing, he has to get complete on it before he can move on with God's favour. So he effectively goes to the Gibeonites and say, "Hey, this thing has happened." Now, we don't actually know when it happened. We don't really know when or how Saul kind of put the Gibeonites to death. If you remember in the story of Joshua, the Gibeonites are the ones who were afraid to be overtaken by Joshua and Israel, so that they pretended to be from a far off country and went to Joshua. They deceived them and kind of deceived them to make like a deal with them, a treaty with them, and so therefore, based on that oath that Joshua had made, they were never attacked, they were never oppressed by the Israelites. But then clearly Saul didn't live up to that oath. Saul didn't live up to that promise. So he broke a promise, he broke an oath, and he committed an injustice against these people. So David kind of then says, "Hey guys, okay, this has happened. What can I do to set the record straight? Can I give you stuff? Can we favour you? Can we help you in any way?" And the Gibeonites say, no, we don't want any of that. But what they do ask for is really costly. They say, "Hey, give us 7 men left over from the household of Saul. We will put them to death, and they will face shame, before God's eyes." And David just says yes. So we just have this really kind of sad story where David kind of hands over seven men of Saul's household. So it says, the king spared Mephibosheth, son of Jonathan. So he was the one who we've been learning about in the last few chapters, the one who was lame. So he spared him because he'd made an oath to kind of favour him and protect him, being part of Jonathan's family. But the king took Amoni and another Mephibosheth, the 2 sons of Ahiah's daughter Rizpah, whom she had borne to Saul, together with the 5 sons of Saul's daughter Merah, whom she had borne to Adriel, son of Barzillai, and he handed them over to the Gibeonites, who killed them and exposed them on a hill before the Lord. And then the Gibeonites were kind of satisfied. So we've got this really sad story where this huge cost has to be paid to deal with the past, to get complete with the past. And then reading on from there, you see Rizpah, the daughter of Ai, took some sackcloth, spread it out for herself on a rock, and then protected the bodies. So the bodies weren't buried straight away; they were killed and they were left exposed effectively, so that all people could see them. And then this woman who had lost her sons, who had lost her grandsons, is just filled with grief and sadness. And so she just sits there day and night, not letting anything touch the bodies, not letting any wild animals or birds of prey get to the bodies, and she just kind of watches over them, just in a state of mourning and sadness. David sees this, he has compassion, and so then he goes and buries the bodies along with Saul and Jonathan's bodies as well. So we just got this example where to get complete with the past, to deal with the injustices, to deal with the mistakes of the past, even if it weren't his own, David had to pay a huge cost. and other people had to pay a huge cost as well. This woman lost, two women lost all their sons, and just a huge pain on account of someone else's mistake. And that can just be so true in life, can't it? In that, to get complete with the past, to get complete on our relationships, that maybe you've hurt someone in the past, or maybe you've just done something in the past that you're not proud of, and that you need to get complete on it. And it's not that you need to pay for it. It's not that you need to, pay your sin. Like that is all paid on the cross through Jesus Christ. But it's dealing with the consequences. It's forgiving that person. It's approaching that person. It's getting complete with that person whom there's always been a bit of a rift, whom there's been an injustice against, and it's you coming to that person saying, "Hey, I want to get complete, and I don't want this thing in our past to be haunting us in the future. I want to get complete." And what we see in the rest of the story is that God once more favours David and the Israelites against the Philistines. So it says once again there was a battle between the Philistines and Israel. David kind of gets knocked down, he almost gets killed, and then Abishai saves his life. And then in the course of time there was another battle, and they killed some Philistine warriors who are descendants of Rapha, which I think Goliath was a descendant of Rapha. And then it says in another battle, one of the Bethlehemite, killed Goliath's brother, the Gittite, who had a spear with a shaft like a weaver's rod. So what we see is that Goliath, who David had killed when he was kind of much younger, he had other brothers, other family members, who were similar in their warrior-like ability, and now God gives them the favor to now defeat them as well. And so we kind of see like a breakthrough moment where David has dealt with the issue of the past. David has dealt with this injustice. He's gotten complete, and now he can move ahead, and God's favor is going to be on him. God's favor is going to be on the Israelites in defeating his enemies. And it was just in the context that was God's way of expressing his blessing, expressing his favor to these people within that context. And it's just so true in our life as well that we need to deal with that past. We need to get complete on it. Don't just sweep things under the rug. Don't just leave relationships undone. Don't just leave hurts unhealed. Deal with it. Have that phone call, send that email, get in touch with those individuals that you need to get complete on, that that there is conflict, that that there is hurt and pain and betrayal against. Get yourself along to CR, start talking about it, start praying about it, and then once you've gone complete on those things, then you'll be able to move on, because you'll have forgiveness, you'll have a clean conscience before God, knowing that you have forgiven and that you have been forgiven. So make sure you get complete on the past. So what is that for you? So I'm going to quickly pray, and then I'll let you guys get on with your day. So dear Lord, we just know, and we are so aware, Lord, that as we go through our life, Lord, that so much hurt and pain and mess can occur, Lord, and it can come at a huge cost to deal with it, Lord, but the cost is worth it on account of favour before your eyes, on account of forgiveness, on account of seeking peace in our life, Lord, and just relaying the forgiveness that you have showed us. So God, I pray, Lord, that you right now just stir our hearts, and that you'd prompt us to think about anything that we need to get complete on in the past, any injustice, any pain, any offence, any hurt that we need to think about, that we need to consider, that we have either been dealt ourselves, God, or that we have given to someone else or done to someone else, Lord, that you might bring peace and forgiveness into our life, God, to help us to get complete, so that we might walk with a clean conscience before you, with love and peace and compassion, Lord, for all those in our life. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen. Great, have a great day, guys. Jamie will probably be with you for tomorrow's passage. And stay tuned for more. God bless. Bye bye.